Let's have a moment of self-reflection. The month begins and your salary credits. The first 5 days of the month are eating out, partying and shopping, and then towards the 25th of the month, you find yourself opening your bank account, finding a zero balance there and a credit card bill of 20,000 rupees. And then the last 5 days are a race against time just for survival until you get your next salary. If all of this sounds familiar to you, you're just stuck in a cycle of bad money management that no one has ever taught you how to break. So if you're feeling like your salary does not last till the end of the month, then come, this video is for you. This is Ajay Ajith. Welcome to MarketFeed. First, let's understand why this happens, the real reason behind it. The one thing that you need to understand here is that it is not an income problem. It is what I call as a leaky bucket theory. I've seen people, my own friends, who are earning 20,000 rupees and they were broke. They're earning 50,000 rupees after a few years and they're still broke. And even when they're earning 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh rupees per month, they are still broke. So what is the real problem? The problem is that people do not have a simple system to manage their money. It can be easily solved, but it is a deep issue. You must understand it right here. So when money starts coming into people's life, they do not know where and how much to spend that money on. People do not think about that. In fact, it is part of the classical psychological trap of growing up. Many of us, especially in our teenage years, would have had a lot of dreams. Once we start earning, when our salary starts arriving, we'll buy whatever we want. We'll have the most amazing, luxurious lifestyle that we have always dreamt of. So when the salary finally arrives and it hits your bank account, spending feels like freedom, not like a financial decision. Money starts getting spent even before it gets planned. You know that when you go to a restaurant, sometimes you'll feel like I earned this meal, I earned this money, and you end up spending a lot more than you have planned. If you're going for a movie, sometimes people choose a recliner seat because, hey, I'm earning a lot of money. Why do I have to take a normal seat? I've seen this happening over and over again. And a lot of these people would have even tried budgeting before, but it would never have worked because traditional budget assumes that you can control your spending every single day. In reality, willpower is limited and decision fatigue builds up quickly. So what did you understand here? The real problem is not as simple as calling it overspending. It is that salary or money arrives into your life without a system, but don't worry, this can be fixed. The first step to fixing your finances is understanding where the problem is. And how do we identify the problem? Simple, by knowing where we are spending our money and how much we are spending. For that, open your previous month's bank or UPI statement. Open all of your bank accounts, take all of your credit cards, download the entire summaries. Just do it for one single month. You can do it for yourself, or if you want to have an easier start, you can upload all of these statements to ChatGPT and ask it to summarize your expenses. Once we have all of these expenses, we have to categorize them so that we know where all the money is going randomly and where the money should be going. So to categorize the expenses, let's learn what types of expenses are there that we need to understand. There are basically 3 easy types of expenses that I would like to share with you. The first one is consumption expenses. The second one is commitment expenses. And the third one, I've clubbed a few here and called it as safety and freedom expenses. Consumption is any and all expenses that are part of your daily life, which whatever money that you're spending to live the life that you're living, those are all called as consumption expenses. So for example, the rent that you pay, the groceries that you buy, the eating out on Zomato that you do, everything is considered as consumption expenses, whatever you use to live the life the way you want to. After that, commitment expenses are those which are you paying off your past obligations. So do you have a car EMI? Yes, then it's a commitment expense. Do you have a home loan? Then that is also a commitment expense. You cannot skip out on the commitment expenses no matter what. And after that comes the freedom and growth expenses. Here, you're spending money to either invest in your future self by upskilling or even investing into your safety for financial tools like insurance, which will give you a lot of peace of mind. Now, under these 3 types of expenses, you need to have two subsections also under them. What are the needs in your spending and what are the wants in your spending? So let's take the example of consumption expenses. You spending on basic grocery for your life, that is needs in your life. But you going out and having a fancy dinner, that is a want in your life. Again, there is nothing wrong between a need and a want. You just have to understand, you just have to do a proper audit of where the money is getting spent and what is the emotion behind it. So do that audit. Now you know what all you're spending your money on. That itself will open your eyes to how much you're spending and where. Even you might be surprised seeing every month, even 20,000, 25,000, some people are spending on Swiggy and Zomato. Here on the screen, you can see the sample audit that I did for my friend Amit. Yes, the name is changed. Do not try to go ahead and find the person. So when I was going through and looking into this person's financial life, one practical difficulty came in, which you might also face. Wanted to highlight it here. Most times, my friend Amit would end up paying a lot of expenses from his pocket for the entire friend group, and they would send him parts of it here and there. So that started creating a cash flow problem and a proper accounting problem. So if you're also facing this issue, you have to figure it out how to solve it. I did not find it easy at all, and we had to take a lot of time trying to estimate his actual expenses. But at the end of it, we found out, and this is what it looked like. This audit itself is really powerful and it's definitely an eye-opener. I've seen people solve all of their money problems just by following this audit. That means they understood, they finally took time and understood where the money is being spent every month. And that itself is an amazing first step to have. So now, hoping that you learned how to do the proper audit for yourself, let's get into 4 practical solutions to fix the flow of money in your life. Step 1, solving your spending problem. Yes, if most of your money is getting spent towards wants, you already know why your salary feels insufficient. I hope a lot of you understood that from your own financial audit. Ideally, the majority of any person's income, especially if they're in the middle class earning bracket between 30,000 to 1 or even 1.5 lakh rupees per month bracket, your majority income should be going towards needs and not necessarily wants. Even in the wants, mostly it should be planned expenses. This basic financial audit will help you understand and identify a lot of red flags. Here, I'm not giving you a strict 50, 30, 20 rule between needs and wants and investments, or a 65, 20, 15 rule. Both of these or all of these rules work, but they cannot be given as a single rule because your lifestyles might be very, very different. One person watching this video would be staying with their parents while working, not having to pay rent, but another person might be living on their own and even sending home some money. So their entire calculation of 50, 30, 20 here might not be proper. But I hope that I've taught you how to do the audit for yourself. And now this audit will open your eyes into the areas of overspending, and you can yourself decide how much exact percentages you're allocating for your life now into needs and even wants and even investments, that is freedom and growth expenses. Just making one thing clear, be realistic with this planning and make sure that you are having a lot of fun in your life also, because all of us are here in order to be financially responsible even while enjoying our life. So make sure that you keep money aside for your discretionary expenses, money that you will not question yourself on no matter what you spend it on. Make sure you have that for yourself also when you do the financial audit. And in this step, some people would have observed or genuinely understood that even though most of their money is getting spent into needs, they're still running out of money. Now, in this scenario, two steps are what you can do. One obvious one is to decrease your lifestyle, but I would not suggest that, especially for a normal person living the life that they're living. You cannot just randomly decrease your lifestyle. But I will suggest the other part. Try to do this first, which is increasing your income. So if most of your money is getting spent into needs and you need more money to live your life, the life that you're living today, then the only thing that you can do is to increase your income. If that is not possible, if consistently month after month you're not able to do that, then you can think about reducing your lifestyle. Keep that as a backup option for yourself. Now that step 1 is done, let's get into step 2, which is the 3-account framework. Any salary system works best when the money is separated by purpose. And the separation gives you one major advantage. It reduces your decision fatigue. So every morning to evening, you're taking 10,000s of decisions. Mornings, you'll be very fresh. You'll be taking very good decisions. By the time it's the evening, you'll start making bad decisions in your life. So what if you remove this decision fatigue from your life, especially in your financial life? You can start doing that by implementing the 3-bank account framework. The first account you'll be having is your salary bank account. Here, it will be the account where the salary comes into your life. Now, it should be tied up with a large bank, ideally something like an HDFC, a Kotak, an Axis, or even an SBI, and all of them have a zero balance account if you're maintaining a salary account. This account should be only used for income coming in, transferring money to all the other accounts, and for holding any small surplus that comes into your life. Here, what I've done in my life is that I have the debit card, but it's mostly at the back of my wallet. The UPI is turned off or it's not added to every platform. I add it only to the platforms where I know I'll be using it only if necessary. Net banking should be enabled, and there should be a provision for automatic payment mandates to any account that you want, so that you can transfer money into your second and third accounts that we'll discuss shortly. The second is your investment account. Here you'll be parking your emergency fund, so make sure you have a high interest rate bank account here. Now your insurance premiums, your SIPs, automated SIPs, everything will be getting debited from this account specifically. So when the month begins, you know from your salary account how much to transfer into this investment account very clearly. So make sure you do that with a proper payment mandate. Here again, the UPI is off, or if I regularly use, let's say, a Google Pay, it won't be added to my Google Pay. I'll keep it as a backup in any of the other apps. The debit card, I even don't want to touch that unless I really want to. So I'll keep it, again, much more behind in my wallet. Now, all your savings, all your investments, all your SIPs, all your insurances, safety, all of this should be managed from this one specific account. That is an investment account's purpose. Now let's get into the third account, which we can call as the expense account. Here is where rent, bills, food, lifestyle spending, all of the expenses in your life, it should be getting debited from this account right here. Expenses made only from this account is what you have to understand. UPI, debit card, everything should be turned on. Whatever money that you want to spend in your life, you should be able to do that here. So no restrictions at all for this account. But what is the catch here? What do you have to do? So one thing that you have to understand is that the transfers and SIPs, everything needs to be automated. When the salary hits your salary or your income account, it should automatically get split into the investment account as well as a spending account. So based on the financial audit that you did, the primary account, you know how much money comes in. At the beginning of the month itself, you'll transfer money into all of your accounts in the exact proportion that you have decided, and you'll make sure you have the discipline not to break any of these rules. Now I'll tell you a real story to help you understand how the psychology behind this works. So I had a Marwadi friend in college, and he always told me that whatever income that comes into his family, the majority of it would be at first, at the beginning of the month itself, it would be put into another account. It would be kept as cash under the bed. It would be kept into a random account somewhere else, which would not be touched at all, because most of them are businessmen. Most of them do business. My friend was into the sweets business. So they know that their income cannot be predicted, and the majority of the money that is coming into their life has to be saved. So whatever money that they're having after their saving is what they consider as their income. Let's say you're getting 1 lakh rupees per month. Every month you decide to keep 20,000 rupees away at the start of the month itself. So you'll be considering only the remaining 80,000 as your real income. And you'll decide to live your life in such a way that your entire lifestyle will be designed around that 80,000 rupees income. Now this is the psychology behind the 3-bank account framework. Hope you'll use it really well, and hope it will be very, very effective for all of you. Now I'll go through step 3 very, very quickly. So the first thing that you should be doing after your salary is paying yourself first. Again, the same rule and the same logic. That's why I'm not taking a lot of time here. This means that you should be prioritizing your future lifestyle before your current lifestyle gets upgraded. That means all of these automations, the 3 bank account framework, everything that we discuss should be done at the beginning of the month itself. You should not be waiting till the end of the month and telling yourself, okay, I'll start investing in my life at the end of the month. You should not be doing that. Here, I also want you to remind what you should be paying yourself first for. One, definitely have a health insurance. A lot of people go into long-term debt because they do not have health insurance in your life. You can have a term insurance also if you're just starting to build a family of your own. Then after that, you can funnel your money into emergency fund. That means at least having 3 to 6 times of your monthly committed plus consumption needs in another account where you can have it even if you lose your job or if you want some flexibility in your life, you'll be having that available here. Don't worry, I'll show the exact formula here if you want to remember it. So make sure that growth and freedom comes first in your life. After that comes emergency fund, and then starts coming your investments, all your SIPs and your investments in your life. Now, even in between all of this, spending on yourself, again, paying yourself first, spending on your upskilling is fine if it increases your income potential. Have that in mind also. Now, let's get into the fourth and hopefully the most practical step, which is bringing back awareness to spending. Especially in today's digital world where we are spending money through UPI, through credit cards, you'll understand that money starts getting mindlessly from your account. When you did the audit, hopefully you would have seen such places of money where you did not even know it got spent. It is not just your problem. It's not just an us problem. It is the way the system is designed. You can imagine that any time that you used to pay for something in cash, it used to create a lot of friction. But today, UPI payments are very seamless, they're very smooth, and it does not create any guilt in your mind at all. Now, an extreme suggestion here would be to try going cash only for day-to-day expenses like food or commute. You'll understand that how the money is getting spent in your life on all of these small areas, and you'll be more mindful of your spending. Now, if I'm to give you a much more practical or realistic example for a lot of you, it is to try and limit the big spendings into your life by giving time for yourself. I'll give you an example here. So let's say for you as an individual, 10,000 rupees is not a big spending for you. But even in that case, give yourself at least 2 hours before you spend that 10,000 rupees. That means you decided to spend on something. Give your mind 2 hours to think about it. If you're going to spend 1 lakh or more on your life, give yourself maybe 2 days to think about it or 3 days to think about it. If you're going to buy a fancy new car which costs 10 lakh or 20 lakhs, give yourself at least 2 weeks or even 3 weeks to think about it. Naturally, our brain will start processing it very differently. When you start to give yourself time to think about a lot of your decisions, the way you think about it, the way you approach it might differ. So make sure you keep this as a practical implementation step in your life. Now, if you want to go to other extremes, you can set limits for yourself. You can set a low limit on your credit card bill if you find out that you're overspending every month. If you're someone who is not able to control your credit card expenses at all, I would even suggest closing your credit card. Who even said that you need a credit card, right? So if you're someone who's really struggling with all of these topics, the only thing that you can do is to be mindful about your spending. What areas are trapping you and how do I fix that? If credit card is trapping you, close the credit card. If UPI and small transactions are what is trapping you, start using cash for those transactions so that you'll be more mindful. If spending between 5 to 10,000 rupees or 10,000 to 50,000 rupees, random spending is what is trapping you, give yourself some time to think about it. So all of these frameworks together, hopefully, will create a lot of impact in your life. Now, let's wrap this video by making one thing clear. Your salary does not disappear just because you're irresponsible. If it disappears, it is because that money itself was never given a proper structure to flow through. And with all the awareness, the structure, and the few simple rules that you have discussed here, I'm hoping that you can break this cycle for yourself. You don't have to stop enjoying life. You just need to spend with a lot of clarity. So make sure you enjoy your life by spending whatever you want to spend, but by doing it mindfully. This is Ajay Ajith signing off. See you all. Bye-bye.